Alright, welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So, in this section 4, when I see how to conduct a research and gather quality data, a quick recap of this is especially when you're going to look when you're going to perform a consulting when you're going to perform a research for a consulting project. First, identify is the three types of data, from the most valuable to the least valuable. Data that come from the company is the most valuable, trust sources, okay, and aggregate sources. So then, now I look at from the broad perspective how to conduct a research by first playing devil advocate with yourself, because things are not black and white. So look things from different angles and perspectives. Gather relevant data, important here, and keep note in each source you obtain, and then qualify the data that you get, and don't forget to circle back with the client. So Paul Mendes, the Zero to Mastery instructor, mentioned that, okay, this is the guidelines that I do, especially when I'm going to make a market research for a tourist website. Now, the guidelines he outlined is like, first, especially when looking at a tourist website, first, understand what they offer, all the product and service, and then you go into the specific by looking at the category, the pricings, what makes this company unique, the company's review, and you now, if you can have access to, jump to the first party data that comes from the company, so you can see how they have been performing, what they have done in the past, and how you can provide your suggestions to them. So when you conduct a research based on their website, their brand, product, their service, you understand how they offer. Now you move to a secondary data or to a competitor analysis to know who the other players are in that industry, and see what you can learn from them. It's getting hotter here. Okay. All right. So see what you can learn from them, and use a keyword research based on that. So then you can now move to a keyword research tool from Google or any other vendors to know what's going on in that industry. And then on top of that, you make a global research by looking at world news to get up-to-date data and to see how everything that you have researched, what is most likely to work today. And that is including look at the regulations, how this industry is adapting to regulations, and where this industry is going. So this is something that I did for an e-commerce, because after all, I just want to build a POC with Vue, Nox, Strapi, GraphQL, and Docker, and launch that to EC2 instance or AWS Lambda. And the whole point of this is, first, understand that industry. And understand is the concept. So what is an e-commerce? According to Amazon, well, it's the trade of goods and service on the internet. So it is your bustling city center or your brick and mortar shop, your brick and mortar shop, convert into zeros and one on the internet superhighway. Whereas Shopify mentioned, yes, while e-business were referred all aspect of operating an online business, whether it is marketing, sales, accounting, human research, operations, management operations, IT, customer service, R&D, research and development. E-commerce refers specifically to the trade and good of service on the internet. And then I look at several actors involved in this transaction, government, business, and consumers, and how each other related. And a couple examples. So the most widely business model, or AKA e-commerce, type of e-commerce is the business to consumers, where now this retailers like Amazon, Walmart, or Target, they sell goods and services to customers. Okay, this is one example. Online retailers, digital marketplace such as Etsy or eBay, where now business, or in this case consumers, can purchase to small business or individual through any of these platforms. Subscription models, or like Netflix or Spotify, online travel and e-booking, where now consumers can book a flight or hotel, or rent a car online in place like Airbnb, Expedia, or Booking.com, and ordering food and delivering service such as Grubhub, especially on the US, or Uber Eats, DoorDash. Now, when it comes to business, we have is five another common examples like digital marketplace, such as Alibaba, eBay Business, Amazon e-business, EDI, which is very specific to companies. Traditionally, paperwork that were made on paper, like purchase order or invoice, now it is done electronically through EDI, and they exchange that in a secure way. So IBM provides this EDI system. Supply portals, so for very large business that wants to streamline their supply chains and procuramental process, which involves in the purchase of good, a large amount of good and service, usually to get a good bid. So they set online portals to do that, such as SAP, Arriva Network, or Walmart Supply Center. Wholesale e-commerce, where now manufacturers and distributors sells to business, such as Uline and Ringer, and business-to-business payment solutions like Stripe or PayPal. And then when I look at the consumer to business, where now freelance work in platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, or Fiverr, consumers offer their service to business in any of these business-specific fields or business-specific activities, whether it's marketing, sales, accounting, human research, management operations, IT, customer service, or R&D. Another example is online survey, such as SurveyMonkey, where now consumers can participate on online survey, usually in pay survey, usually for market research purpose. User-generated content, where now individuals or consumers can sell digital media to their business, especially on the influencers field. This is actually where it stands most of the time, or the vast majority of that market. Crowdfunding, where now consumers can raise funds to their own ideas, and projects like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and in a reverse auction like Priceline, where now consumers can submit a price quota to a product or service that business offer. And then I look at the relationship now with the government and business, public procurement portals. So government agency provide a online platforms to business so they can bid on government contracts, such as the FBO in the US, the Federal Business Opportunity, or the UK Contract Finder Service, permit and licensing. So business can apply for food service or for food license or building permit, tax filing and payment systems. So government agency provide, for example, on the US, the electronic federal tax payment system, whereas on the UK is the HM Custom and Revenue, Her Majesty Custom and Revenue. International Trade and Custom Clearance. Okay, so government agency now provide online service to facilitate cross-border trade, such as electronic custom clearance or export declarations and business registration, such as the SBA on the US, the Small Business Administration, or the Company House in the UK. And now the relationship between the government to consumer, okay, another couple examples, 5 examples. We have tax payment portals, so consumers or citizens can now pay their tax through any of the payment options the government provide on platforms like the IRS in the US, the Internal Revenue Server, or the UK HM Custom and Revenue. Also, they can submit for new license or renew their license car or their vehicle license car. The Department Motor Vehicle in California, US is one example, or the Driving Vehicle Licensing Agency on the UK, passport applications such as the US State Department of State Passport Service, or the UK General Register Office. Also, payment of fines and fees, okay, on utility bills like electricity, water, property taxes, and ordering birth and death certificates. So the United States provide that through the National Center Health Statistics, or the National Health for Center is this is national exactly is the U.S. National Center for Health Statistics, or the UK General Register Office. And now the relationship with the consumers to government, okay, is online online donations, okay, such as UNICEF or American Red Cross, fishing licensing permits, okay, or licensing applications such as fishing licensing or hunting permits, payment of fines and fees, as online petitions, when our consumers or citizens can submit petitions to influencing government policies like change.org or change.org and change to. Change to, right? No, but it's change.org is an example. Okay, so now that I understand, okay, how all of these actors can interact each other or can trade each other, then I look at where does it take place in e-commerce, or the where does it take place this right now on the mobile, completely on the mobile, enterprise, or social media. Okay, and then I look at then I make a comparative analysis, okay, to look at and understand who the other players are in that industry, like Alibaba, Walmart, IKEA, Amazon, eBay, all right. And also a keyword research to understand is what's going on in that industry, okay, especially from Shopify websites, Amazon gift cards, Alexa Fire Stick, uh, AliExpress, Shopify themes and website, point of sales, eBay gift card, eBay coins, eBay shoes, eBay books. And then after that, so after I make a research, okay, and gather quality data, now it is time to put a practice of how to visualize your findings, in my case, my findings, how to visualize my findings into a visually appealing presentation. Because at the end of the day, the client wants to know how you reach to that conclusion, and that is going you guiding through the process by showing uh, visually engaging presentations, charts, data, and understand how all of this relate to each other and the pattern behind that. Yeah, and the pattern behind that. hmm And the pattern behind that. Because it's this. So when you display that in a visually appealing way with the statistics, okay? So when you display a visually appealing way with a statistic and chart, it's more easy to point out these meaningful patterns. And as a consultant, the client needs to know how you came with that conclusion. And with that knowledge, you can put your suggestions into practice. Mhm. So business is gonna see that you go above and beyond as a consulting, and you're not another consultant that just do the bare minimum to get by. So in my own words, the client wants to know how you reach that conclusion through visually and engaging presentations with charts and statistics to see meaningful pattern, and then allow you to implement your suggestion as a consultant. So with that, okay, now let me deep dive into the how to create an effective and appealing consumer report. So okay, so now that you have exactly, so now that you have research, so now you have the research done in the first and the second, and possibly your third party data. Now it is time to how you visualize. Now it's time to visualize your finding into a visually appealing consulting report, right? And this is a report that you're going to present on live with a client. This is supposed to be, okay? This is a report that you should present on live with the client, and it will make you really visually understand what you're talking about. Because people oftentimes are visual learners. They process things better not only on a call when they hear it, but you put things in a report. So the point of this paragraph is that making visually engaging presentation with statistics and data Since most of the time the vast majority of people are visual learners, and by pointing out the patterns of your finding and how you came to that conclusion, showing them will not only make you stand your business, but that you are the right candidate to go with. So instead of killing them with the death of PowerPoint, which has a lot of word on the screen, you want is to show visually engaging presentation. And that is where they allow you to stand up in your business. Okay. So that's the whole idea of this. Okay. That's the whole idea of the art of presentation. And another important thing is to put that at practice. Okay. So once I do this, the art of presentation, for my POC, for this e-commerce, okay? So analyze your research and notes, okay? So reporting is a very powerful when it's done the right way. You should precisely know how to use the data that you gather before creating your report. Very exactly. You should precisely know how to use the data that you gather before creating your report. And especially here, by putting practice this, okay, the e-commerce, the point of this is to understand what an e-commerce is. Okay, to understand what an e-commerce is, the type of e-commerce, and what are the web technology that we can use for that. But the whole point of this is, what is an e-commerce? Okay, so what is an e-commerce? What are the type of e-commerce and the several business aspect of that? There's several example of that, and the tech involved creating that. Okay. So put the most valuable data first, because you don't want the client start to think, or you don't want the client start to forget what the most important thing was. So you need to put the most impactful data first, so your audience can make sure that they are understanding what the report is revolving around. Nobody wants to see an entire presentation to just get to the final page with all the good stuff about it. So you need the layout, you need to lay out the ground first, present the most valuable data, and then expand on that with visual reports and different aesthetics. So create templates when needed. This is to speed up the creation of your report. And then visualize data into graph and charts. Exactly. So visualize data into graph and charts. And remember, the data visualization helps you to make informed decisions. But to recap, this is, well, analyze your research and note to understand how to use your data before creating a report. Then put the most valuable data first and create templates when needed, okay, to speed up the report creations, and visualize data into graph and chart. Remember that data visualization helps you make informed decisions. Okay, so with that, that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.